First thing you're going to have to learn about is stealth. All right, so let me work you through some of the various elements of stealth. First of all, let's talk about jump-off points. Okay, here's the quote. I got 6 jump-off points set up. All right, if someone tries to track you, it'll take them 3 minutes to get here. Let's vote. How many people for elite? How many people for lame? Okay, all right, let me help you out here. Jump-off points. Here's a diagram. You start at the source on the left here. You take jump 1, jump 2, you get to your target. Each one in the middle is a jump-off point. So you don't connect directly to the target, you connect through jump-off points, all right? Each jump-off point gives you 30 seconds of protection, all right? 30 seconds, and here's what it looks like. Looks like right there. Now you can actually take your jump-off points beyond what we traditionally think of our normal jump-off points. You can take them to other networks. So for example, you can jump from off the internet over to Merck Global to Mintel and HK Bell, that's over in Hong Kong, all right, over to Pacific Bell. So you get your jump-off points to different networks, all right, 30 seconds for each one. Follow all that? Want to vote again? How many people for elite? How many people for lame? All right. How many people use Firefox? Show of hands. All right, good. This is version 1.5. Here is the configuration screen from 1.5. You guys should really look into the browsers you use, because there it is, right there. Configure internet jump-off points. I mean, if you just read your own software, you'd probably be better at what you do. That's why you're not in Hollywood. All right. How about this one? This is a lesson in stealth. This is lesson 2, and it's an easy one. Always deactivate the satellite tracking. When you're trying to be stealthy, it makes perfect sense. Deactivate the satellite tracking, right? So let's take a vote. How many people for elite? How many people for lame? You guys are learning. All right, here you go. Here's one way to disable the satellite tracking. This is in Linux. This is the predict program. You can predict satellite passes, look at solar illumination predictors, single satellite tracking mode. You can actually disable the satellite tracking through here. This is how you do it in Linux. But everybody knows how to do this, right? I mean, because it's in Linux. Let me drop an O-day on you. All right. This is unannounced. You got to keep it on the real hush hush about that. I get in trouble for this. All right, but here's how you disable the satellite tracking through Amazon. All right. It's like Google hacking, but it's different. All right. You go to Amazon and you do a search for satellite. This is actually Toshiba's model. This is the Toshiba satellite. Once you get it into your cart, you actually go in there and order it. And once you're done, you can track your recent orders. So once you go in there, you can actually disable the tracking for your satellite. iHackAmazon.com. All right, so you guys are getting the hang of this. What do you think about this one? Friendly. It is friendly. Well, what we're doing here is what? We're telnetting to an email address. Well, let's get a vote. How many people for elite? How many people for lame? Okay, the people that think it's lame, how many of you have ever seen a hacker telnetting to an email address in your IDS logs? Got quiet in here. So obviously this stealth technique works very well. All right, some more advice if you're trying to be quiet. Don't hack a bank across state lines from your house. You get nailed by the FBI. It's good advice, good stealth advice. All right, now how about this one? UWBs are relays in a closed comm net. Now pay attention. They carry multiple messages, even decoys. Makes them invisible. UWBs, relays, closed comm net, invisible. Stealth. I don't want to get too deep into the technical stuff, so let's just review. First of all, use jump off points. You get 30 seconds for each hop. Hop off the internet, use Firefox, go over to HK Bell. Deactivate the satellite tracking. Use Amazon if you need to. Don't telnet to ports. Always telnet to email addresses. Never show up on the IDS. Don't hack banks across state lines. And for God's sakes, use a closed ComNet with multiple messages and decoys. If you're just using the closed ComNet and you only have one message, you're screwed. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about incident response. You know, people that have had hackers break into their system probably would like a little advice from Hollywood. So let's talk incident response Hollywood style. Multiple choice. You've got a hacker. Should you A, insist on more strenuous action? B, flag it, run a trace, put it on a code priority? C, echo 23 to see what's up? D, try to go to emergency override? E, error out the emergency system? F, terminate the diagnostic? G, switch to auxiliary? Or H, all of the above? All right. So let's review. Here's your A, insist on more strenuous action. Those hackers try to get into our system again. At this point, I insist you take more strenuous action. Step 1. Step 2, hacker, could be. Flag it, run a trace, put it on a code priority. Good advice. Here's your C, let's echo 23, see what's up. Here's your D, can't you go to emergency override? Liked that one. Now, this, I really felt sorry for that guy because he has his boss leaning over his shoulder. You know, the boss is like, hey, we got a hacker, you know? So it's like, you got this hacker that's broken into your system. It's so bad that the boss shows up, right? The boss is over your shoulder. You're trying to deal with this situation, okay? Your monitor goes out, right? So you can't even look at your monitor. Everything pops up behind you. Like, this is kind of crap is this? You know, I don't even get a monitor. And then the boss shows up. He's like, what are you doing about this hacker? And the boss offers some advice. Can't you go to emergency override? And what are you going to say? I don't even have a freaking monitor. Here's your E, error out the emergency system. This is what Trinity did. Error, emergency system failure. It's one good way to deal with it. F, terminate the diagnostic. I've got an intruder. I'm terminating the diagnostic. This seems a little counterintuitive at first. I think what you're really doing is you're freeing up memory for your strike back system. You don't need the diagnostics. Just flip everything to the strike back system. Let it ride. How about this one? Switch to the auxiliary. Now, this is the same poor fool who had no monitor a second ago. Now, his lights are out. He's got this one monitor that flipped to, like, character mode behind him in the dark, and he's switching to auxiliary and he doesn't know how stable the connection is. I think he just said that to the boss. But in reality, if you look really close at the monitor that's up there, I think we can see what's wrong with his connection. Anybody tell what that is? It's like an autoexec.bat file. So I think the problem with his connection is that he's running DOS. Try to troubleshoot. All right, the proof is in the pudding. Here comes the video clip.
Those hackers tried to get into our system again.
Hacker?
Could be.
Flag it, run a trace. Run a trace.
You must be the brains of this operation.
Run a trace. Flag it, run a trace. Put him on code priority. Code priority.
At this point, I insist you take more strenuous action. Let's echo 23, see what's up.
You must be the brains of this operation.
Run a trace.
Initiating immediate trace on hacker.
Get an intruder. I'm terminating the diagnostic.
Can't you go to emergency override? Okay, there we are.
Our experts are not as smart as theirs.
Could be.
Switching to auxiliary. I'm terminating the diagnostic.
Not as smart as theirs.
Flag it, run a trace. Put him on code priority. Code priority.
Players in the game. Players in the game.
Not as smart as theirs.
Could be.
Our experts are not as smart as theirs. All right. Now, not done yet. We've still got some lessons to learn about incident response. Hacker's still there. None of this stuff worked. I mean, even the emergency override, done, nothing. Guy's persisting. So what do you do now? A, use authority. B, treat your network like a Windows box. C, put up an electronic barrier. D, jam it. E, call tech support. Or F, all of the above. All right, here's your A. Use net force authority to override now. How many people have ever had to resort to that? It's rare, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Here's your B. What do you do to fix a Windows box? Absolutely. So the answer is pretty simple in this case. What do you do when your network won't respond? Reboot. Here's the quote. No response. I'm going to have to do a full reboot. He ain't talking about his workstation here, folks. He's got like this like one keyboard that's got like 3 buttons on it. Control, Alt, Delete. Little Post-it note that says network, do not press. All right. How about C, put up a barrier. Now, I really like this chick's style, right? Because she's obviously a techie because she's talking with technical finesse. Because she's talking about some sort of electronic barrier. Right. Now, there's a lot of things she could have said, like you or I, we're in Hollywood, right? You're going to flex that technical muscle, right? Be like, yeah, we should put up a firewall. We should put up an IPS. Let's get a closed switch in there. But no. She's smart. She says, put up some sort of electronic barrier, right? So they wander off and they put in a firewall, and the hacker's still there. And they come back, they're like, that didn't work. She's like, I didn't say put up a firewall. It's slick. And it's that kind of technical dedication that lands you a spot in Hollywood, right? She's obviously smarter than she looks. All right. How about D, jam it? So the guys in the Kevlar are in the hacker's place, and there's the monitor right there, and it's doing all this stuff, and he says, oh no, they're deleting already. So the obvious solution to this problem is to jam it, right? The guy back in the van does it. All right, here's your E, call tech support. He's the guy with the long hair, the raincoat, and the skateboard. All right, so let's go to the video clip.
Use net force authority to override now.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
Net force authority to override now.
No response. We're gonna have to do a full reboot.
Put up some sort of electronic barrier.
She's plugged in, totally wired.
Electronic barrier.
Totally wired.
Jay, they're deleting already.
Quick, jam it. Jam it.
Never fear. I is here.
Very nice. All right. Angry hackers. Now, let's talk about what happens when Hollywood hackers get angry. It happens to the best of us, right? Get a little ticked off. Things aren't going right, right? You're browsing the online sex port. Next thing you know, you got to go to emergency override, right? Get a little